Hey everyone, this is a reminder that when we're seeking, right, ascension or higher consciousness, if we're just sort of on a path that says, I'm on a spiritual path, I'm doing all that appears to be like spiritual. Like, you can go to different talks or listen to different channelers. You can go to different gatherings. You can say, whatever you want. You can say you're doing that. Doing it and actually allowing it can be two different things. The rising consciousness, if you're seeking ascension, right, don't seek it. What you want to do in your life is just look at your motives as to the power plays you do with your choices. So if you make choices that have got to do with material power plays, then you're not honestly using your energy, which is your spirit, for ascension. Ascension is do generally good to others, that will come back to you. We are run by the spiritual laws of the universe. So if you think you're hiding anywhere to the extreme of like a vendetta or like you got vengeance or something like this, that's your energy. That's what you're doing to your spirit. Your spirit is naturally high vibrational. You can call on your higher self, which is the extension of your spirit, still having access to higher dimensions. Whereas when we're here, we've got to be in the physical form, but we still have access to the higher dimensions. And our soul is here with knowledge of some of its history for this lifetime moving forward as this person. So we don't want to look back. We want to live now, and we want to make sure that we are getting a clear spiritual heart foundation. Now, heart is not just going to church or just going to gatherings, but then when you're not at those places, you have hidden agendas working towards any other spirit on earth, any other person. That's your spirit. That's what you're doing to your cells and your energy field, which is all your spirit. So if you want ascension, it means you want more of your soul embodiment, because your soul is of a higher vibration. Like the human, when you get into a low vibration, you're not going to be living your soul essentially. Because your soul needs to activate with your spirit an active resonance, which is of a higher vibration. So that's when the human is working with the higher self and soul to live out a good life essentially, because the spiritual path is not about making your life perfect and fighting against others to better yourself. So your agendas just really don't work. They just keep you on the same kind of cycle, looping around, and it doesn't matter who you are. So you might be a spiritual teacher, but they are not infallible humans. They are very fallible. God is infallible, as in there is no agenda with God energy. It's us here on earth that have agendas and we think we're hiding them. We're not going to get God's assistance. God will always want you to do something that doesn't cause harm to another person. So you're out of alignment if you are in balance in this way. You're not in alignment with your soul path or heaven. You're in a human mindset battle with the ego predominantly putting on, like, you know, the ego can put on a show and convince people, like a salesman or a showman, that of anything. They can say anything. I'm a spiritual teacher, I'm a channeler, I'm this, I'm that. But it really comes down to when you sit with that person for a bit, or if you are aware of them for a bit, their truth resonance. Everyone can learn to discern and pick up on this the more you're doing the honesty with yourself. If you're not honest with yourself, then you're not going to pick it up in anyone else, because that's the only way you will pick up the clarity of the resonance. Because, like, if I'm of clarity resonance, right? I've done the work and I keep myself accountable. If ever I have a thought, like, as you're growing up, you are learning of conscience. So, like, I don't like that done to me, so I really shouldn't do it to someone else. And so, but adults or teenagers, all different ages, think they're hiding things when they hold on to the ego. And so far as, like, Matthias still does things actually in the hidden realm. Like, we can hide the fact that we may not like something, right? But not only does he hide himself in the energy field towards me, doing whatever he wants, it's invisible. So that's even like triple. Heaven will not work with that. So that won't last forever. And, various energy he'll attract because of that. And because, anyway, so I'm in alignment. So one that is in alignment with, like, clarity. You keep yourself conscious in observation of the choices you make. You take the time to ask yourself, is that actually, because it's consciousness. Every choice we make is consciousness. So you can't just sort of bypass like a unconscious human anymore, because in the lighter dimension, the laws are going to be acting at a faster pace as well. So the universal laws are going to, like, law of attraction is going to come back. And, so it's all different effects of what we do with our choices is creating a reaction. And dependent on how long we've been doing it for and the intensity that we put into the field, we can expect that is being attracted to come back to us. So, and obviously, it's common sense that you can't put out a agenda and expect it to be filled if at the other end, like myself, is not agreeable to the behavior. So that becomes like Matthias's own battle, because I don't agree with that. So I have to keep giving back this energy of no. And he is forcefully with the yes, I want this, ignorance of me. So the energy comes back to him in this. It used to be kind to begin with, until I realized he wasn't going to listen and he was going to use all of his talents to try and tell me how to live and manipulate all environments I'm in. And so just wanted to remind us of that. Some very important points, because it's very much becoming into timelessness to do with the light coming in now, due to us doing this work, we have attracted, assisted with the evolution that has been coming for a while now. And so, like I said, law of attraction is going to come back to your choices quicker. So it is very important when you do hear, like I listen to various teachers at times that I resonate authentically with, because if I don't, then I'll just turn them off, like won't watch it. I have like a inbuilt clarity kind of radar, and when you work with your higher self and guides, you have a closer relationship and you just get guidance almost instantly. It doesn't take too long anyway. If you can't pick up on it straight away, it doesn't take too long, because if you're at a heart foundational clarity that you have no hidden agenda and your only motive is wanting a better world, for yourself to enjoy, but how do you offer yourself to the world to assist more of a heart foundation globally, essentially, because it's not limited to the boundaries of your neighborhood. Your energy is not. So whatever you put in is what your world is going to reap. And yeah, so it is cautionary that, listening to astrologers or variety of teachers, different intuitive guidance and modalities of our soul, spirit, human design, that I was going to say something about the astrologers that I had listened to lately. Yes. So the timelines, which are just like when you are being honest and clear and open to your guidance and not mucking about, in the other stuff I've mentioned, then the timeline is like what's available for your soul to rise to in action. So you get higher assistance, you become more of your soul, which is great. And then, there's light DNA activation. So you really want to tidy up what it is you're doing with your energy, because it really has sped up now. The power of choice is going to be known to us when we put something into the energy field, just how clear we are with ourselves that what we just sent out is in an energy field that will be received. So you want to be accountable for the level of consciousness, meaning for the consideration that what you do is coming back to you. So we have the creative leeway of our guidance teams, the heavens that watch over us and assist us. They know when we make honest mistakes. They know because it's learning. Creation is learning. They know when we accidentally do something or we tried to do something and it didn't work out. They know it's a learning opportunity. I'm talking about when people let their egos get the better of them and they're doing things as though they can get away with it because of their position, because they can hide and do it, because they know people, or because they just want to put across a salesman or showman or woman persona, and they haven't essentially matured into understanding that we're not just here for buy and sell. Okay, we have to put the heart center first, that everyone should be able to enjoy their life, and we shouldn't be putting anything out into the field that we essentially wouldn't like to feel ourselves. Now, what's always also in the leeway is so many people living on the one planet, you're going to have disagreements. It's all a part of getting to know yourself, but you're also accountable if you take action that is truly unconsciously accountable. So, when you have let something, a part of you, just sort of take over, well, you'll be accountable for that learning. Like, you take action to purposely hurt someone, or various things. Everything is looked at. So, just be accountable for what you do, because that's ascension. If you're on a spiritual path, I would think accountability for thinking about your actions before you make the choice to act. Like, you want to do something, just think wisely about that choice before you actually do it. Like, if you know that on the other end of it, the other person isn't going to like it, because that is watched, that energy is into the field, and you'll end up experiencing it one way or another, especially now, because we are being helped with this dimensional DNA of us and Mother Earth. It's all changing. So be honest. And I don't mean to say it to whoever's listening as though you aren't. I'm saying I'm going through the experience where it feels like, and I know I have to, being of angelic realm, come here to assist, right? Because my soul is willing and capable and knows that I'll make it through. But I've also had to walk the feeling path of people that don't have a voice. I've come to experience and work with heaven about how it, like, the true deliverance resonance of how that feels, what I see is going on. And I tell you, I have completely experienced that with Matthias De Stefano. So there is part of our path where I know him and I were going to butt heads and disagree, but I just did not realize that he would be so immature that it was going to keep on going. Because I was old enough to know that there are people without voices heard, with various abuses, silencing, so submissive behaving, oppression, suppressing, all of this going on. We know this, and we kind of could step up the plate, which is what's going to happen to the plate, step up with more of the speed of light that we are moving into. Like, if we want to help those without a voice and we apply ourselves to that, it's going to happen a lot more quicker with a lot more assistance, because we need to bring balance on this planet, because lots of people are walking around saying, oh, my pockets are full and I don't give a shit what I do. Well, I'm sorry, but no planet in the cosmos has come to stay that way for you. That you can just walk around with your hands in your pockets and just like turn your nose up to what's going on. As long as I get pleased, I'm fine, And I'm sure that a lot of people that will listen to this don't feel so lopsided that they are that ignorant. I'm sure that lots of people have helped, know that it's good to give, and mainly because even if you don't know about universal laws, the energy field that which we are, that we inhabit, it's in our blood and bones. When it feels good to give, we reap that reward. We feel good. That travels in our energy field. That travels in our life. That ripples. That's the energy field that others are attracted to, even if they don't know what we do in our spare time. So what we do when people don't see us matters as well, because that's our energy field. And that's what heaven works with. And so they can work with us beautifully. So yeah, if you're putting up with crap at all anywhere, find somewhere or someone you can connect with and start to really emphasize standing up for yourself, stronger voice via your gut response to life. So in your gut, if you don't like something, then find a way to express yourself. I've had to practice this over my life because it's an important part of my path. And I wouldn't give that up for anyone or anything. That, you practice knowing who you are by what you won't put up with. And I don't have the highest particular standards that people must be a certain way or anything. People can be whoever they are. Just treat each other kindly, give each other space to speak and space to listen. Like, you listen, they listen. Be kind. This is our energy field. So all of this is ascension of our planet. So if you're looking at ascension, it is not just a spiritual under the moon gathering unless you actually are taking your legit who you are. You aren't to I'm trying to assist here. You aren't to turn up and think, this gathering is part of my spiritual path. But then when you leave it, it's not separate. As in, stay conscious. It's not just like a show you've been to. It's make sure that you can do these things, right? Music, gathering, talks, dance. But also the spiritual path is getting honest. So, with the real issues in your life and you want some spiritual advice. Now that can range from some of the very good clarity channelers down to deciding to have a nice deck of cards at home and get familiar to getting unbiased and neutral experience receiving with spirit. You can do automatic writing for journaling. You can muck around with a pendulum like I did with yes or no responses to start feeling, not dependent on the crystal, the pendulum crystal for the answer, but getting used to the feeling and whatever else comes through your energy field about your spiritual team speaking to you about it. You might ask a question and get a yes or a no. It spins either way. But it's then this space that I am in, who am I communicating with? It's your spiritual team. So, you have to be in a neutral place of not imbalanced with waiting on an egoic, I need to have this response. You got to get in a neutral, energetic, calm, relaxed, unbiased space that you'll open your channel to your teams of the highest light. You don't want to pick up on anything else. So be careful how you approach this. Don't do it when you're not in a clear kind of space. And don't do it when you really want a particular answer, because opening to your spirit team and your higher self, they know your path that has been set up with your free will to work with them and find your way. So you want the highest guidance there. So you're just learning that your spirit is like your embodiment all the time, and you can invite your guides in whenever you know you've picked up signs. You can say, thank you. I see that, I was assisted there, when synchronicities happen and unexpected things, but you know that you got a sign. Well, this is all the intuitive studies you can do. And I don't want to keep us much too longer on this because I really just wanted to highlight that the spiritual path is every second of your life. So it's not like just a weekend thing or an afternoon thing or anything like that. It's actually getting to know your interior world. So then you can stand apart from the world instead of thinking you have to fit the world. And I don't mean apart as in you keep people out of your life. I mean, yeah, there is that. But I mean, sovereign soul with a energy body of the 4 spiritual layers. So spirit here, emotions and mind, access and communication, and it is the physical body. Like they overlap, but they have their own part of the system flow. So, you want to take care of it all consciously. So your emotions are affecting your spiritual path. So it's an interplay of balance and getting to know yourself in the world, but not having to be like fit into like spirituality looks this way, or I want to be accepted by my spiritual community by doing a certain thing. Only if it resonates authentically and sits well at your solar plexus, at your gut. Otherwise, it becomes more of a fitting in thing, which can be okay to be around people, but just don't forget the spiritual part is about your growth. Kind of, I like the words I heard today, integrating the soul. It's not like we can ever, integrating the ego. It's not like we can ever get rid of the ego. So it's just balancing the ego to be more of it's the outside player that helps the soul create. So you want your authenticity to be able to come through, to shine through wherever you go, to a particular gathering. It's okay if you look completely different. It's okay if, most of your life people haven't embraced certain spiritual activities like going and listening to a teacher or a channeler. That's okay, because this is the whole point. Everyone's soul is different, and you have to keep your spirit happy, following through on what you know in your gut feels good for you. Because that's how you're going to shine your light more and more, and that energy raises and you're expressing yourself. And that's flow. That's your spiritual divine flow. Okay, so I'm going to close off this chat now at the 30-minute mark because I feel like I covered everything. But yeah, please don't forget that it's the spiritual path is not this kind of separate or part-time to any of us. Bring it into your life more. So if you picked up on something at a spiritual teaching, gathering, or even just sitting with your friend at a coffee shop, or you going for a stroll, even when you're shopping, notice what it feels like when you're being authentic and when you can't be authentic. Because the more authentic you can be is your spirituality. If you're having to hide yourself, then that's your spirituality. You need to contemplate, why aren't you sharing yourself more, or in that way, or with that person? Or that's what you need to contend with yourself. See what I mean? So it's not just when we go and learn something, it's also, are we showing up as our authentic self? That's our spirits. And then the soul, the ancient soul, can come through and be attracted to the points for that soul path. Because there was an organized path with various points before being born here. We didn't just come down for like a shopping mall gathering or accumulation of things or anything like that. There's actually things that we have chosen to learn about ourselves, expand about ourselves, and this all helps the universe and like God, light, source, and our expansion. Meaning we just evolve into like a wiser space, you know. Okay. Thanks, everyone. Bye for now.